Ironside will not be seen tonight, so we may bring you the following special program.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
With Dr. Strange, I could really just embrace the earliest version of that character, which frankly looked like he was half English, half Asian in the way he was drawn in his first appearance. His eyes had a different kind of shape, and his whole aesthetic was really beaming the sense of Asian culture coming forward. But he also looked like a definitely much older guy, so I didn't hold back with that in the illustration. I'm somebody who likes to embrace age as a definitive characteristic that you can really get into much deeper character with somebody when you show more form and grit in the face. It's more shadow. It's more lines for the artist to hook into.
Welcome back, everybody. Time again for a new Trek Watch as we wrap up Season 2 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Episode 10, Hegemony, or something like that. I don't know. I'm not an entomologist. I couldn't tell you how to say the word properly. John here, Mitch here. On away missions, we've got poor Wayne, who caught a bit of that virus, I think, that the Gorn were spreading around the colony. Hopefully he's going to have eggs growing in him. And Franco on an away mission across the waters to Dublin.
Yeah.
Comic-Con this weekend.
Right.
So you just got me and Mitch, but that's okay because there's plenty to talk about, Mitch. How are you?
Good, John. Good, John. It's all we got nothing to do, and I'm just saddened because as soon as I saw to be continued, I thought, well, it really is to be continued because we got a strike, we got nobody working, we got no idea when it's going to end. This son of a bitch could come back next year, 2 years from now.
There's a possibility that 2 Olympiads might happen, but the way they've split up the Olympics in fall and winter years.
Yeah.
I think sometime in 2005 is both a pessimistic and optimistic look.
That's
because
crazy.
You were telling me, Mitch, as you were booking Rebecca Romaine for Terrificon, they were, prior to the strike, shooting Season 3, correct?
Yeah, they were in Toronto. That's why I held up so long announcing her, because we had to figure out where her flight was coming from. She was going to fly right from the set. And the other reason why it was only Saturday and Sunday is because she was going to be working on Friday. So she would come right from the set of Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3 and come right to Hartford. But the strike happened, and she was not in, she wasn't in Canada. And then I was like, well, maybe she'll be in California. But luckily she was actually here on the East Coast, so I didn't have to fly.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. But the thing of it is, it was up in the air, Jesus, till like a week before where the hell everybody was. I mean, the strike started officially when? Right around July 1st or so? July 3rd or 4th?
No, I think it was the second week of July. But I mean, literally, man, I was emailing you the week before the convention when they were laying out what SAG people could do and can't do at convention.
That's right. It was all the panel stuff.
Yeah. So it was, I think mid-July. But anyway, regardless.
Mid-July. So I mean, the show was so we only had 2 weeks to figure out where she was and figure out what we could talk about and if they were going to appear because it was up in the air. Yeah. So just imagine being in a production. Imagine being the camera guys, the caterers, the makeup people, and you're all sitting there. You don't know where you're working. And then you get the call. That's it. I mean, they were filming Beetlejuice 2 right up here in Vermont and they had standing sets right there in the streets of Vermont, and they were literally working till like 2 a.m. when the call came, like the official. No, it was 3 a.m. because it had to be West Coast time. It was midnight there, it's 3 o'clock here, and then as soon as that hit, then that's it. They put the drapes down, they covered up the sets, they closed up shop, they turned the lights out. I mean, they were working to the last possible second.
Sure.
To try to get all that money, because you got to realize, you mothball this stuff. You got to put it in storage. You got to pay storage fees. You got to bring it all back out. I mean, I know it's all virtual sets and stuff, but still, there's costumes and props, and physical stuff, and lights and cameras.
Even the ancillary businesses. I think I told you guys, and I can't remember if I did it on the air or not, but I saw a casting guy in Atlanta, and as we all know, Atlanta has become a big hotbed of film and television production. Right. And he not only stated the obvious as far as all the production people behind the camera, as you're pointing out, but even he said there was a car dealer in Atlanta that was renting out like 50 cars a week to all these different productions that were going on, and that business is gone.
No, and my buddy's a prop. Yeah, my buddy, he rents props out. The guy that makes my videos for the Terrificon, he has a whole, like, I don't know, like a warehouse full of like guns and costumes and props, and that's what he does. He's in Massachusetts, so all the filming that goes around in New England and in Boston, he rents that out. But it's just that's a stream of income that he's not getting right now because they're not doing any productions, So
yeah,
the animated thing gets me because, like I said, the animated voice people are allowed to work. Video games are allowed to work.
It's a different guild. It is a different guild. Yes.
Are the writers who write like Lower Decks on strike because that's a right?
I'm assuming if they're writing for animation, I assume that work is okay. Much like
that's weird.
Well, much like but again, I think it's a different guild for writing as well. But much like the exception that the Screen Actors Guild has now put out for independent productions, and student films and things like that, that stuff people can still do. And in fact, a good friend of mine, I won't reveal until it's ready to be talked about, but he's in the process of making a short film, and he even texted me today that he's going after some name actors to hopefully be in it because of this exception. And that's great. I'm glad. He's a smart, talented guy. And again, when the time comes, we'll certainly discuss it. But anyway, go ahead.
I was going to say one last thing because I just saw tonight before we came on that Bob Iger is going to announce some news this week that's going to affect the productions for Disney Plus of Marvel and Star Wars products or productions because there's no shows. So they're going to have to people are paying money to watch stuff, and if there's not going to be any content, that's going to hit them. I mean, sooner or later, people are going to say, what the hell am I paying to watch Bedknobs and Broomsticks?
I hope that Paramount is reconsidering
Prodigy.
Prodigy Season 2 because of that. The Wheeze has a comment. I assume a lot of the issues are surrounding streaming and AI. Yeah, but
part of it.
Rob Burnett put out a really great video yesterday, I believe, about residuals and how Netflix has to deal with residuals compared to the studios. And it really is an interesting point of view that I don't think has been pointed out before. Yeah. So, but anyway, this is above our pay grade.
I know. I just wonder, do you think we'll get more animated programs, though?
I don't know. I God only knows, Mitch. I mean, really, and also, by the way, animation can't turn on a dime.
No, it takes.
So if there isn't already stuff in the pipeline, or if it isn't, that's still another 2 years before we might see something at the earliest. I mean, you saw with James Gunn and Creature Commandos and stuff. By the time we get it, it's going to be 2025, unless it is coming out next year. I don't know. I really don't know.
Radio dramas are going to make a big comeback.
I'm for it. I love audio drama. I love audio drama.
Seriously, it's like, why not? You got voice people, you got scripts. Let's go.
I do know that, again, under SAG rules, audio drama is one of those things that they don't want you to do, unless it's a small independent production. And a lot of the big studios are getting into audio. In fact, I want to bring it back to Star Trek.
Yeah.
What Nicholas Meyer wanted to do with the Khan prequel of what happened to Khan during the eugenics wars. Or no. Khan on SETI Alpha 5, I believe. I believe that's the story they were going to do. Maybe both. But what was going to be a mini-series on Paramount Plus, they've been talking about making it into an audio drama podcast instead.
Okay.
So, anyway. Episode 10, season 2. We're done. We have our to be continued. I liked it in general. I didn't like the fact that not only are they ripping off Alien and Aliens and the whole franchise, I saw a little Serenity in there in this episode. I saw a little Independence Day in this episode. And it frustrates the hell out of me, Mitch, because as you know, other films and television shows would steal ideas from Star Trek.
Yeah, I saw some
people have no conscience about stealing not only from their own people like Dorothy Fontana as they have, but just I mean, if I was James Cameron, the lawyers would be on the phone, and it's like, let's sue Paramount for stealing so much from Alien.
No, they're not stealing, their homage.
Bullshit. And
that's
I know you're teasing me.
When the tail came down and it looked just like the tail from Aliens, that was an homage. And then I was also thrown in Best of Both Worlds. So much to the last couple frames where you could have taken whatever. It's the same setup.
I blew it, Mitch. I should have gotten the screen caps because on Best of Both Worlds, you've got a very resigned but firm Riker going, Mr. Worf, fire.
Yeah.
And this is, I don't know. What do I do? I don't know.
Yeah. No, but crap. I got that vibe from it. And I'm like, oh, man, that was a great season finale. No one's ever going to take that back. So if you're going to rip off something, might as well rip off one of the best. But, I mean, I told you before, one thing I realized is that this is no longer the Kelvin universe. This is no longer the original story. I finally came to grips with the realization this is its own thing. So as much as my brain struggles when I watch it going, how come Nurse Chapel is so close to Spock? They'll never talk like that years from now when they meet up. And I'm like, don't even bother. And then when Scotty showed up, which was fun to see Scotty, but then in the same breath, I'm like, well, all you're missing is McCoy now and Sulu, and you might as well just call it Star Trek and just relaunch the whole thing. And you can kill Pike tomorrow and have Kirk show up because everybody's there. The party's already started. I mean, it's really, I don't even know what's going on anymore. It's fine. I watch it. I enjoy it. But the whole canon and stuff is just through the freaking window. Well, and that's what's frustrating because when you see the Gorn, the first thing that comes in your head is the classic Arena episode where they didn't know who they were, but now they know who they are. They're sealing face to face. They're fighting with them on. They're wearing spacesuits and the Gorn. It's it kind of takes. Why did you have to call them the Gorn? I said one thing. If they just called it a brand new alien species, I wouldn't have any goddamn problems with any of this stuff.
What's the title of the show, Mitch?
Strange New Worlds.
Yeah. How's that strange? How's that new? It's not.
You're right. They could have called it like the Lizard Men, the Slee Stack, and I would have been, hey, fine. It's a brand new alien race because the way they grew and the way they spray their young and it implants like a bug and it feeds off you.
Yes,
all that would have been great. Again, aliens. But if it was a whole new species, I wouldn't be stuck with all my Gorn history.
Just like they introduced the Xindi and the Suliban in Enterprise, they were interesting, especially the Suliban with that gross, bumpy, light a match on my face skin. It's not even acne. My God,
And what were the Kazon with the big goofy wooden head thing that I always thought was stupid, but at least it was an attempt.
It was
to
different.
Show a whole new species.
The Kazon to me were always Klingon light, but that's
they look like they should be in Hawaii at a luau. They always look like some kind of weird.
Yeah, they're like dreads.
Tiki.
Absolutely.
They look like tiki cups. Yeah.
I agree with Chris Saga saying, hey, maybe Pike is a Skrull.
Skrull, why not? Hey, they
Wait a
can
minute.
call them Skrulls.
Good to see you, Chris. I'm glad you're watching. And Mike, I agree with. I'm going to put it up again. Pike seems to be like a deer in the headlights at the end of the episode. Yeah. Not very decisive for a Starfleet captain. And, dude, that's been the problem with this season. I understand that they want to position Chris Pike as being a friendly captain, a guy that very much wants to be friends with his crew, include them with to command decisions.
Yeah.
But it just keeps making him weaker and
Right.
weaker.
Why
And
can't
I
you get a
don't understand.
badass captain? Why can't you have a Jellicoe? Why couldn't you have a firm, by the book? I mean, all these captains start off that way. Picard starts off by this, stoic figure, hates kids, and then they mellowed him out. Let's fine.
Yeah.
But then Janeway was another one that was old school and everything. And then you had Cisco, who had the whole trauma from the war. Everybody starts off like this, unemotional guy. But Pike, as soon as you see him, you know his backstory, you know what's going to happen. So it was like, okay, we know where this guy's going. Let's see what happened between the end and now, which was a good idea. But
Mitch,
already he's turned into like Captain Stubby, another captain.
Captain
who was a mean
Stubby.
guy.
Hello, Gopher.
I don't
Faces
like
on, Gopher.
Dr. Bricker. Yeah, and they what's wrong with the stern guy? It's like even the MASH thing. They bring in Colonel Potter. Oh, he's regular Army. He's not going to be fooling around with Hawkeye and BJ. And next thing you know, he's drinking. I don't
My
know.
friends used to call me Stud.
Maybe it's just boring to write that type of character, but then you show all the interactions around him, like how the crew deals with this stern guy. But nah, I mean,
Right,
he was so looking after his girlfriend. I mean, that was nice. He had a.
I didn't mind that. I like the Battelle
I know, but it was like,
relationship a lot, actually.
What's going to happen?
The only minor quibble about Battelle and Pike on this episode was when he starts to go, well, have you tried? And she's like, Chris, I've been a captain forever.
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
Everything isn't mansplaining. Jesus, you people annoy the hell out of me, these writers.
I didn't even get that part.
Shut up, man. The woman has a point of view. Relax. These are, first of all, they're in a relationship. Secondly, they are both captains. Maybe Captain Pike might have a suggestion that Captain Battelle hadn't thought of. But again, and it's certainly not the actors or the characters' fault.
No, it's the way it's written.
They're written.
No,
and it annoys the shit out of me. And once again with Ortegas, gee, Erica, you're the best pilot ever. We know. You've told us on every goddamn episode for the last 2 seasons. Find something else for Erica to do. We like Ortegas.
Well,
We'd like to like her more.
I'm glad that we saw a lot more of Rebecca Romijn, not only because she was my main guest a couple weeks ago, but for the whole season, I was like, where is she? Where is she? And then there she was, sitting at the helm. And then she was in the captain's chair. I was like,
yep.
Oh, okay, she's doing stuff. I'm glad to see she's back on the show,
All right, some comments from the Peanut Gallery. Hold on here.
Sure.
Mike agrees with you. They need to create new alien races. They create some new characters and kill them off. Hemmer had so much potential and they wasted him. The Wheeze, Janeway was a badass every week. Raise shields, load the photon torpedoes. And Mike again says Pike should not be apprehensive in his decision making. He already knows when he's going to die.
Right.
That's years away. And that's something I want to bring up. I have never heard this phrase until watching reviews this week.
What?
Plot armor. Have you heard this before?
I heard that in a couple reviews because somebody else said, how did this happen? They go, oh, plot armor. He can't get hurt because
we know their futures. Right. So not only Chris Pike. All right, it's easier to list the people that don't have plot armor. We don't know Una's future beyond the cage.
Yeah.
And these 2 seasons.
Ortega, Khan, all of them.
We don't know Ortegas and La'an. Those are the only 3 I can think of everyone else that is in this cast between existing TOS characters. Yeah. And now we got Scotty to add to the list. Oh, Pelia. Pelia could die.
Oh, yeah.
She's not on the Gorn planet. My prediction for Pelia quickly, I think she will be in this part 2 and be like, this is why I never wanted to go to deep space.
Yeah.
Too much stress. I'm leaving. Hey, Montgomery Scott is here. He can be your chief engineer.
No, and I said to you, it's like, did she know when she was signing up it was just a glorified cameo? Because she's like the Dr. Pulaski of Strange New Worlds. She's there and nothing happens. It's like, oh.
No, I did. But Mitch, honestly, there were plots with Pulaski in that second season. I know she only had the 1 season.
Well, divided though. They had 26 episodes divided in half. That's 10. So if you do the equivalent to, I don't know, maybe she had 1.
No, no. There were a couple. Well, and all like.
No, I'm talking about Carol Kane's character. She had like.
I don't think she's had, other than being that plot point in the time travel episode, other than making smart ass comments.
Nothing.
No, and I love Carol Kane. I was so excited that she's gonna be in here. biggest waste of this season was the
Yeah.
lack of finding good stuff for Carol Kane to do. And it annoys the hell out of me because she is a brilliant actress. I like how weirdly quirky she was. I agree with the people that say she's warmed over Guinan in a lot of ways, being an immortal or long-lived. But also it's like, oh, yeah, you were in my class. Oh, yeah, you were in my class. It's like, that's all you got for her? Really? That's it? Or the occasional like little snide comment? It's what a waste of a brilliant actor.
Well, what was the other thing? And was the beginning what they were an old Midwestern town? Was that like an homage to the old Trek Paramount backlot?
I think no, I understand it. I've seen other people make that reference to me. When you base a colony on a backlot, cheap. You're cheap.
Oh yeah, I can believe it. I'm like,
cheap.
With all the projection and the volume and all those things they have nowadays, why would you make it look like it? And everything's in English, you know, like.
Oh, that I don't mind. That's but Universal Translator.
I know, but I'm like, I'm
okay with that. I don't want like Discovery in that first episode where the first 10 minutes is in Klingon, and thank God for the subtitles. You wouldn't know what the fuck everybody.
I remember that one. The Bozeman, was it Bozeman, Montana, and then they were chasing through the cornfields. Enterprise.
No. I did I say I meant Discovery?
Oh, Discovery. Oh yeah, Discovery was. No, I was thinking of back to the old Scott.
Oh no, I love that.
Oh God, no.
When I wasn't at Fan Expo, I've been watching a lot of Enterprise this weekend because, as we all know, I'm obsessed with Star Trek. It's in my thoughts every day. I got a problem. I admit it. Hi, my name is John. I have a problem. All right, hold on a second. Chris says if they made Starfleet Academy, Pelia will be a cast member. Maybe. No, actually, Chris.
Why?
If their plans for Academy are what they announced,
Tilly.
It takes place, 1,000 years from Strange New Worlds.
That's bullshit.
I hope not, because
I honestly think that I think what isn't it number 5's the last season for Discovery?
Yes, this will be the final season.
Whenever that comes on. But I think I don't know. It's been so long. It's been so long. I don't think there is going to be a Tilly thing. The same thing with Section 31. If the strike didn't happen,
I think
they were going to go into production. But
they've got an Oscar winner under contract. Once the strike is over, they're making that Section 31 movie.
But sometimes
it was going to be a series, and now it's only a 2-hour movie. And that to me says Michelle Yeoh going, listen, I don't need this shit. Right. Let me make a movie with you guys. What
I think happens is if you wait too long in between shows, people forget. They don't remember what the plot lines were. Starting from scratch.
Yeah, I mean, again, the benefit of streaming, it's sitting on the shelf.
It is.
So if you need a refresher.
But how often have you gone back and rewatched any of this stuff?
Well, no, but you and I are not Discovery fans. I really, that's a great question, and I really want to find. And I know they're out there. They're just not in my circles. Our good friend Tana Ford I'm going to have her on in the next few weeks. And Tana is a great barometer. She's younger than us. I think she's got a good critical eye when it comes to Star Trek. But I know she likes a lot of new Trek more than we do. But I would really like to find. I mean, my buddy Scott Larson, who I hung out with at Fan Expo this weekend, he really likes a lot. And I mean, I don't know about how he feels about Discovery in general. But just new Trek, he gives them, much like Wayne. I wish Wayne were here today, but gives them the benefit of the doubt and say, oh no, it's all right. It's for a new audience and whatever. I just, again, my classic complaints, they've dumbed down the science fiction. They rip everybody off. And back to this plot armor thing. I mean, it really eliminates the consequences of what they set up, because we know, like you said about Pike. But you could say that about Chapel.
Well, no, that's happened.
And everyone else that is a legacy of Kirk. I mean, it's like,
well, I don't know.
Well, I mean, honestly,
you don't know. No, see, because you're bringing in your knowledge of the old show, and you think Dr. Mbenga is going to make it all the way to McCoy being on the show. That's not necessarily the case.
I think I disagree with you. I think much as they want to say that, much as their action show, they're doing new things and different things.
Yeah.
As far as what they give us on screen, no, we're adhering to continuity. I mean, Carol Marcus gets a shout out. Cybok gets a shout out. So they are. I believe again, Mbenga's role on the original series was he was a Vulcan medicine expert. He was there to treat Spock if Spock gets in trouble. And he was part of the medical staff. Another wrinkle that drives me nuts about Strange New Worlds, where it seems like there's only one person for every department. Pele seems to be the only engineer.
Yeah.
Uhura seems to be the only communications officer. Ortega seems to be the only.
Where's the night shift? Yeah. Where's the people that come in when they go to bed?
Alpha, Beta, Gamma, as we learned in the Jellicoe episodes.
Where's the third shift?
Where's the Delta shift?
Where's the midnight to 6, midnight to 7, the overnight crew? But
Pete loves watching me get angry, and Pete, honestly, I wish I liked this show better. And truly, as I point out every week, maybe I'll like next week's episode better. Maybe.
I like this week's episode. We didn't get into that, but from start to finish, as soon as it came on, it was a battle episode. It was like an action war type of story. So I was hooked because I like that type of stuff. I know they're a scientific exploration vehicle, and yeah, that's all bullshit. You just want to see shit blow up, okay? I don't want to see them go find a new type of microbe out there. Who gives a fuck? I want to see shit blow up. So that's why all the time we are a scientific vessel. Yeah. Great science. Ooh, look, Klingons. Yeah.
You know what's interesting, Mitch? I told you I wanted to get a word from some of the powers that be that are currently involved and ask them if they felt Starfleet was a military organization. Apparently, Roddenberry did not consider them a military organization.
He was always like, "Oh, it's a ship of peace. We're out there."
But like I've said before, which makes sense for the time that it was created. I always said it's a combination of the Coast Guard and the Peace Corps.
Correct.
And that's
I look at our armed services as peacekeepers. Occasionally, they run into some things out in the ocean and some fighter jet problems, and thank God they can blow shit up. But they're blowing shit up for our side. Let's just say the same thing with the Federation. They're taking care of the humans, buddy.
It was interesting that the Gorn created this line,
right?
And also that the colony itself was technically outside of the
other side,
jurisdiction. No, and that's why the general plot points of the episode I liked, but the plot armor thing, I completely agree.
Oh yeah, that plot armor thing's a big problem with all the Star Trek, Star Wars prequels, and all those shows because you know Anakin's going to become Vader. You know Darth Vader or
Obi-Wan and Leia.
You know everybody's story. That's why as soon as you make a prequel, it's kind of like, well, there's no excitement there. Who's Padme? I bet she doesn't make it. And sure enough, it's like Rogue One. Great story. Never heard of any of these people. You know why? Because they're all dead at the end.
Yeah, but that's good. Yeah, but then that's why I like Rogue One. It's like
but they're good for one-offs. I mean, look at the Discovery. We don't know about them because we're never to talk about them again.
I am very curious to see how they're going to wrap up Discovery. I really am. I hated that 5-minute teaser they gave us with Burnham riding on the hull of the ship while they're at warp. And that's why I'm like, am I nuts? Were they at warp? And my friends are like, oh yeah, they're at warp.
Don't worry about that whole warp thing.
Protects her from the speed. Bullshit.
I know.
My God.
At least this one tried. This one tried to be like a traditional battle thing, and then I don't know. The Federation just kind of Starfleet just like, oh well, they made a DMZ and the colony's on the other side, and you can't save them. But then his crew is abducted when they saw the beaming effect. I go, hey, that's a different beam up effect, and then you realize that's because the Gorn took some of the people on board. Yeah,
even the Cayuga, them destroying the Cayuga. I understand it was outside the Federation walls, but or demarcation line. But to me, that's still an active war.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't really know.
Blew up the freaking Lusitania. Hey, why? Scotty got away in his little shuttle. We know that. So are you trying to tell me that everybody aboard his crew got abducted by the Gorn to be used as breeding stock too?
Yeah, maybe. Sure.
So they really don't.
Until we learn otherwise.
So when she goes and has those flashbacks, is it Leon that has the one about when they were...
Right.
Oh, everyone died. They killed everybody. They murdered everybody. But then we find out they really don't murder you. They take you back and they inject you with their eggs.
I think it depends. I think they do both. I think they do both.
But do they blow up out of you like aliens, or do you morph?
We didn't see it.
Or do you morph into them like the lizard from Spider-Man? Which I'm thinking.
Well, I hope so.
No, because remember when Hammer disappeared and he was infected? And I said, how come the Gorn don't look like the Gorn that we know? They have tails. And I'm thinking, maybe just like an alien, it depends on who the host is,
Right.
and they adapt
I
some
agree.
of the
No,
physiology.
they
of
could.
that.
It'll be interesting if we see that happen where a humanoid
Yeah,
becomes infected with Gorn and gets closer. I'm not saying they need a guy in a rubber suit like the original Gorn,
right.
but it should
Look
look
a little
more.
bit. Yeah,
And again, we'll see what happens in this second part, because sometimes monsters are just monsters, as Pike says
yeah.
in this episode. Well, maybe something else is going to happen, and we'll see a change of heart,
I
and we'll
think
see
it's
a more
cool
advanced Gorn.
if his girlfriend gets taken over by the Gorn and becomes like the new Gorn Empress. That'd be kind of cool. And
Well,
she's got,
all right,
the big
and
eyes.
then they're ripping off Stargate, because that's what happened to Connor Trinneer's character.
Oh, really?
On Stargate,
Oh, I never
he
watched
was a
it.
human,
Oh.
and then he became one of their alien races, a wraith.
Oh yeah, I think
Michael.
I do remember.
His name was Michael. And
Right.
yeah. So again, hey, keep stealing. By all means, keep stealing. Jesus, man, when you take a penny, you're supposed to leave a penny next time.
Well, they're hoping you didn't see everything, because I didn't know about that Stargate thing until you just told me. I'm like, oh, really? That happened on another show?
Oh yeah, and actually, it happened on Stargate Atlantis as well, where they had one of the crew members who got infected by one of the bad guy races, and he became like that. And again, I understand that there are certain sci-fi tropes that likely are public domain. I do think James Cameron has a legitimate law case. I don't like that when the Gorn ship showed up, it was very much like Independence Day.
Yeah.
We understand that there's going to be tropes like an alien invasion. Try to make it look different. Again, it's that blatant stealing that they're doing. I mean, my God, let's show the image from Alien 3.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Yeah, this one.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. When it went right up to her and sniffed her, I said, oh, I bet she's got eggs in her, just like Sigourney Weaver had. It's even framed the same way with the same color in the background. If you get that shot of Sigourney Weaver in Aliens 3, it's even the same. I mean, God.
It's insane, man. It really is. Yeah, bullshit. Honest. Don't be Wayne now, Mitch. Come on now. It's an homage. No, it's not. It's thievery. It is blatant thievery. I'm sorry, kids. I don't like it, and they keep doing it, and it's annoying. God, that gets me so angry.
All right, what about Scotty though? You think he's just gonna be a guest star, or is he part of the cast?
I think he'll be like Kirk. Well, we'll see. Because again, one theory I have is that Pelia may leave.
Yeah.
And that might leave the door open for Scotty. I have to admit, man, I like this guy a lot.
He seemed more David Tennant than Chris Doohan.
Well,
I mean Jimmy Doohan.
Well, yeah, James Doohan. Chris Doohan, by the way, played Scotty in the fan film.
That's what I was thinking of. I was saying, why didn't they get his son?
And he did a great job. Well, they should have, because the other thing that bothers me is this boyish young man seems to look a lot younger than Spock and Kirk. And again, original series, Scotty's like at least 10, if not.
He had mileage on him. I always thought McCoy, it was a toss-up who was older in my mind. It was always Scotty and McCoy were probably the same age. And then, Spock was older because of his Vulcan.
Right, Vulcan.
I thought Kirk was young, and I thought always Sulu was only about a year or two younger than Kirk. I always thought they were close in age. And the teenager was Chekhov, really. You know?
Yeah, and again,
Apple was up there too.
So is Sulu coming next year?
Might as well get the whole band together. I mean, really, there's nobody. They've already had a Mr. Kyle there a couple times.
Well, yeah, he came and went. He was in
and
season
I told
1,
you,
and then they replaced him.
Could be Gary Mitchell, or could be.
I would love again.
Mitchell.
Well, if they introduce Gary, and again, this is still way too much Kirk for my taste.
Yeah.
Then he better be on Jim's ship and not on Pike's ship.
Well, there's already a Mitchell at the helm, and they said it's too close to have it. You know, I mean, there's a million names out there.
But again, don't keep introducing characters that are going to have plot armor, because that reduces your stakes. Again, I don't understand this. I understand, hey, remember Barry's, look who's here. But my God, there are more people with plot armor on this show than potentially ones that you are scared about. Best of both worlds, as someone pointed out earlier, although they incorrectly said, I think if they were comparing it to Strange New Worlds, they said, well, next gen wasn't sure that they were coming back or not. And I'm like, I don't know if it was that dire.
Was that true?
I do think there was enough of, Patrick Stewart could be gone, and it could just be Riker moving forward with the crew. I mean, I really felt.
I should have asked him that.
Especially when he says fire, it's like, oh my God, what the fuck's going to happen?
No, but I mean, it was a great freaking cliffhanger and had us all on the edge of our seats all summer long. I remember that. But I don't know. I should have asked Frakes if that was one of the things when they did that episode. Was there ever a chance?
As I've told you, I so want to be sparing with my time talking to Frakes. I'm like, I don't want you to think I'm.
After it was all over, I kicked myself because it's like days later. I'm like, why didn't I ask him this? Why I had him right there? Why didn't I ask John Frakes about this? What the hell?
Mike, I believe Mike is right. He said, I think it was more that Patrick Stewart hadn't renegotiated his contract.
Is that true? Oh, okay.
That's possible. I don't know. Regardless, and we only had to wait 3 months to find out what happened.
That's like the Han Solo and Carbonite at the end of Empire, because Harrison Ford wasn't signed up for a third one, and they were like, hey, if you don't come back, it's been nice knowing you, but we got Billy D. Williams.
Absolutely.
He could take over. So.
Who could take over?
Billy D.
Billy D, sure.
Lando Calrissian. That's right. Even stole his clothes.
All right, I'm looking here. That's so funny. All right, hold on. The Metrons, Organians will appear, and we'll get an Aaron of Mercy situation earlier than TOS, possibly. And he says that's my season 3 premiere. Guess. I think
this is going to end with a mind wipe, and everybody forgets everybody.
I told you.
Yeah,
but that's at the very end of the season or the series.
Or when the series is over. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we'll put everything back where we found it. And everything you just watched is totally gone. It's Correct. like the Avengers. Captain America went back and fixed everything. You're like, wait, what? And why doesn't Pike talk about the what was the woman's name he met on Talos 4?
Oh, not Vina. It is Vina. Yeah. Well, I
don't know. I mean, it made it look like he was.
And you can't go back there. Starfleet rules.
Well, I know, but you don't hear him ever mention it. Like, I'm pining away for this woman that I met for.
But he's got Captain Batel. That's okay. I don't mind that. It's very interesting watching the reviews, both positive and negative. That if they kill Batel, and by the way, that's another character without plot armor.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're like, boy, I was really expecting them to fridge her. Meaning,
Ron Mars. Yeah.
Yes, Ron Mars, Green Lantern, absolutely. And it's interesting that has carried over to film and TV. But it's like all these people. So it's going to be very interesting what they choose to do with Captain Batel. I don't know what
people who don't know what we're talking about. Ron Mars was a writer of the Green Lantern comic book, and he killed Kyle Rayner's girlfriend. He didn't, but the character in the story died. And Kyle Rayner comes home and finds his girlfriend shoved in a refrigerator dead.
Yeah, and Gail Simone made this great essay pointing out how many times expendable women characters were treated as expendable, and that's lousy. And hey, fair point, absolutely fair point. And as much as I roll my eyes at every male is shot down on, especially white males on New Trek, I would agree that I do think it's a bad move to fridge a woman. And by the way, all right, now we got Montgomery Scott. So, wow, we actually have like 2 male characters that potentially white male characters that I'm assuming, because especially Scotty, it's like, are you gonna fuck with Scotty now? You gonna call him that he's man? Is he gonna mansplain Pelia on a point or some shit like that? I don't know, but it again, when Batel just shut down Pike when he's like, well, have you tried? Yeah, Chris, I'm a captain. I know what I'm doing. All right, calm down. Jesus.
Everybody was shoving Captain Pike around. Admiral April told him not to do stuff. Chris, you can't do this. It's like, really?
I'm glad you bring up April, because I'm really disappointed in the one note. He is the police captain on Starfleet.
Yeah.
Don't make me go downtown, you assholes. You better do right.
He's the Captain Dobie.
Yes. He is. He's Admiral Dobie. He absolutely
is. You guys can't do this. You're breaking the rules.
And it bums me out because I love Robert April as a character. I love the idea of him, everything about him.
Or Kevin Tighe in the Mod Squad. He would show up every week. Remember? He was the old captain on the
Oh,
Mod
yeah.
Squad. You
Sure.
guys can't do this.
Exactly.
Julie, Mike, Link, listen to me.
The rookies, every cap. That's why
Yeah,
it's
but there
so
was
great
always
in
that. By the
Last
book.
Ac- That's why it's
Yeah.
great in Last Action Hero that, the captain is just that kind of stereotype. All right,
Yeah.
Stanley came late to the game. Where are Wayne and Franco? They're on a
They're
way.
away. We'll never see them. They're on the
No, they're don't tell them that. Oh my God, but they're my favorite part of the show.
I know.
I hate you guys. Why are we watching you?
I said the same thing, but hey.
He did.
No,
Mitch is like, oh, no, Franco, no Wayne. Maybe we should. I'm like, we're doing it.
I don't want to do
Get
it.
used to it. No, man.
I know me.
There's been times where it's just me and Franco. I'm sure there'll be times where it's just me and Wayne. It's okay. It's all right. I don't mind. Not plenty to talk about, Mitch. Don't kid yourself.
I know Wayne's watching right now.
I'm sure he is. No, we got a good crowd. Everybody watching. Thank you very much, as always.
There is because it's the season finale. Everybody wants to talk about. They're not going to see you scream about Star Trek for weeks, and they don't know what to do until Strange New or not Lower Decks.
Yes, you do. Lower Decks is in
that's next month.
3 weeks.
No,
3
September.
Weeks. September 7th. How you doing? It's the 13th of August.
I don't know. After TripCon, I have like a 2
3
week
weeks.
gap. I have
3
no
weeks.
idea. I woke up the other day. I asked my wife what day it was. She was so pissed. She goes, "Are you serious?" I go, "I have no idea."
I know. I'm surprised, Mitch. I figured you'd take a long vacation.
I don't, because I'm a very cheap person, and I just want money. Money hungry fuck. You don't think I do this because you people want to make me heroes, do you?
Well, I'm not paying you, so I don't know why you're hanging out with me, but I'm glad you are. What else can I say about the episode?
It was in color. It was a talkie.
Good effects. All right, Spock and Chapel. We haven't talked about Spock and Chapel.
Wait, no. Yeah, okay, yeah, go about that. How she managed to survive. Everybody dies aboard that ship. Everybody dies when my Kong cries. But somehow she manages to scurry away and get enough life support in this. Like, there's nothing left of the ship. I was surprised she didn't fly across the screen like Princess Leia did.
I didn't mind her. I didn't mind her starting up life support again, and I like the fact that we only got an hour of air or whatever, even when you did do that.
Yeah.
But you're
everybody else was dead.
There should have been there should have been more survivors.
One other guy,
and even Spock points out to the bridge, there might be pockets of oxygen here and there. There may be survivors, but also. Again, and
dude, when she was pounding on the glass trying to get his attention, I'm like, you do know it's space and he can't hear you. You're really smart, aren't you? You're Starfleet's best.
Yeah, but she's moving, so I can appreciate just the motion that maybe Spock might see the motion.
Then she started using the flashlight because we know that's a thing.
But until the batteries ran out,
no laser pointers or anything like that, or a phaser. No.
Whatever. Well, you don't necessarily want to. You don't want to necessarily set up a phaser in a.
Who knew that there's a spacesuit in sickbay just waiting to be used right there?
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, but that's like emergency kind of.
Oh, come on! You're pulling a Wayne
I'm
now.
Okay with that.
You're explaining it.
There's so many other things to yell about, Mitch.
You're waning it.
But I didn't like that the Gorn had a space helmet on.
Yeah, exactly.
But the rest of his body seems to be exposed. So I don't know how that works.
It's hard to get that tail inside a jumpsuit. That's why.
Oh, man. I agree with you, Mr. Vic. Plot armor is the best protection.
Absolutely. I thought they would just take their masks off and kiss each other right then and there. I'm like, oh,
yeah, they hold hands, so maybe Chapel is finally kind of unfreezing a little bit. And then, Christine, I really feel like we need time. Yeah, no time, Spock. Gotta go.
No, I was actually hoping they were going to get it on right there in 0G.
No, I don't want that. But what I
do. I want to see the barbed Vulcan penis, and I want like a cat, which I've said before. That's why they have such screaming thing. And I just want to see Christine Chapel's regret her decision.
Easy. Okay. I didn't know where you were going. I didn't know this became a penthouse forum.
Look, and honestly, people, when you watch this stuff,
go ahead.
We're just sitting here, two fat guys talking about Star Trek, and we can say that because we're both not wearing size 36. And, we're just here having a good time. And maybe you watch it and maybe you laugh along with us too. And we're not doing this for geopolitical statements. We're not trying to save the world. This isn't a class in theology or philosophy. This is a bunch of two old nerds who watched Star Trek since they were little boys and now watching it as grown men close to dying than they are back to teenage years. And That's all. It is what it is. And when I say
But-
things like Spock's barbed penis, I don't know if Vulcans have a barbed penis. You know what? They don't. You know why? Because there is no such thing as fucking Vulcans. Because it's all fucking fiction, and none of this shit is real. Okay?
All right.
So calm down. Okay, Jenny. I'm sorry.
All right.
I just
No,
had to
no,
go
no.
on. Frank,
All right.
no one's here. I got no boundaries tonight. I
That's
got somebody
true.
on TV.
Just don't pull out the lightsaber while I'm
I'm on.
talking.
Yeah,
That's all
I
ask.
have it right
Absolutely.
here. The shit goes down. I got my lightsaber.
Just
And
don't
then
do it
besides,
while someone is talking, meaning me. That's all.
if this was Star Wars, then this would be serious. But
All right, listen.
this is not Star Wars. This is
A couple
Star
things
Trek.
I want to unpack from what you've said, and I agree with you.
I'm just having fun.
And of course we are. But the other thing is too, Burnett made this point on his YouTube channel, where some people will tell him, "Hey, get over it. Your childhood show has changed." It's like, and the reality is, if I may, the reality is, sure it has, but it always did within the years that we've been watching this. The original cast movies were different than the TV show. Next Generation, every iteration has evolved, and we've grown with it. And that is why now, yes, certainly wider. That is why, in our opinion, this bad writing and retro bad science fiction that we're getting, it does not match up with the evolution that Star Trek managed to do for 50 years.
No, I'll tell you another good example. Not Star Trek. There was The Adventures of Superman with George Reeves. Then there was the movies. Then there was Lois and Clark. Then there's Superman and Lois now. Then there's been, I mean, there's always different variations. It's the same character, the same setups, the same, Daily Planet. It's the same story, but it keeps getting added on to every time they bring it back. And the same thing with Star Trek. We know what the core show was, and then they've added stuff on over the years. And I wouldn't be here talking about this shit if I jumped ship years ago after they came back with Next Generation. But here I am. I never got into the Battlestar Galactica stuff because my Battlestar Galactica was with Lauren Green and Richard Hatch and Dirk Benedict. I never got into the new one, but from what you guys tell me, it was a great series and had a great story, and the Cylons and Caprica, great. But in my world, I didn't like it, so it's okay.
That's all right.
You don't have to like everything.
Couple comments from the peanut gallery. Mr. Vic says he heard they want to make 20 episodes.
I heard that too.
Did you really? All right.
Yeah, I saw it right up the other day. They said they want to make it. Why not?
Oh,
pay these people.
Yes, and well, do what Basic Cable had done for years. Split a 20 episode season into 2 seasons of 10.
Well, the new Daredevil show is supposedly 18 episodes.
Yes.
I mean, what the 10
well,
episodes?
And Andor is going to end up being 2 seasons per se, but essentially the same.
Doctor Who was 13 episodes or so. I mean, 10 episodes is not a lot. 10 episodes is a Marvel miniseries on Netflix. Why can't you have a friggin' 15 or 16 episodes?
I'm all for it. And also, by the way, if they had 20 episodes or so, I'd be a little more not so
critical.
Yeah, well, not as critical about the gimmick episodes.
And I think they wouldn't try to shove so much story in some of these the episodes we get, because lots of times you're like, whoa, this character development is going way too fast here.
Spock and Chapel.
You could have dragged, if that was a whole season of 20 episodes, done it here every couple episodes you hint at it, and that's fine, like a Mulder and Scully type of thing. You alternate back and forth.
Yeah, but again, sexual
when you shove it together in 5 weeks.
Don't have them doinking right away, because that gets rid of the sexual tension.
Oh, the Sam and Diane. You don't want to Sam and Diane.
Everything. Sam and Diane, moonlighting. I Dream of Jeannie, for Christ's sake.
Hawkeye and Hot Lips. They hooked up once.
One time.
And they never talked about it again.
You're right. Well, but they at least became more friendly after they.
Well, yeah.
So that's all right.
You know what, Matt? You know what Star Trek needs? A Frank Burns. No, seriously, they've had every other character there, but imagine if there was a weekly by-the-book character who was ratting them out to Starfleet, like it was telling them how things weren't working right. Why not? You've done everything else on this damn show. You've stolen every other stereotypical character from every other show ever on television. You don't have the Ratfink character.
Ratfink.
No, remember they did an episode of The Next Generation where there was a guy on board who was writing a report about everything that was happening?
Well, and also Deep Space Nine, the guy who came on when they got the Defiant, and the guy from
the guy from Krull.
Yes, balding.
Yeah, that actor. Yeah.
I can't think of his
name. No, he was balding. Somebody knows.
Someone in the channel know.
Come on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the guy that was the main guy in Krull, he came aboard Deep Space Nine with the Reliant.
Eddington.
Yeah,
Eddington.
but what was the actor's name?
That I don't know, but it was Eddington.
That's sad. We know the character's name, but not the poor
Yeah,
guy.
but it was great because, in fact, in that opening three-parter, if you include the cliffhanger from season 2, he does rat them out to Starfleet.
See,
and it's like, he's like, "I'm sorry, I had to file my report," and then of course later the guy becomes a Maquis guy, and it's totally anti-Starfleet.
I can't remember. Did he really? Is it?
Oh yeah. Oh no,
he became a Maquis.
Oh yeah, and it like really was this like.
Oh wow, that's a great. See, that's good writing.
Yeah, I remember that exactly.
That's Ira Beer. Is it Ira Beer? Is that what his name was?
Ira Stephen Bear. Absolutely. God, Mitch, you got to get him at a Terrificon sometime.
Oh, I love that guy. I watched him in the Deep Space Nine documentary, and I realized all the episode I really liked on Deep Space was when he was working it. So I was like, hey, you don't realize it until you stand back and then you go, why do I like certain episodes? Then you realize it's a writer. You're like, I like the way that guy writes.
He had to fight for everything. You don't need a ship. It's a space station. We need a ship.
We got to get off this stupid thing now and then.
Yeah. Runabouts suck. We need a goddamn
ship. A runabout. Oh, I forgot about that.
The shuttle's on steroids, basically.
Did you notice how they even ripped off The Walking Dead when they were on this episode? Said, it's like if you cover yourself with blood, the zombies can't get you.
Yeah, but
Are you shitting me?
That's enough of a zombie trope.
Oh, why don't you just stay aboard the back of the Star Destroyer so when they jump to light speed, we could just float away with the rest of the garbage? And you might as well steal from the fucking Empire Strikes Back, why you don't you? Maybe Boba Fett will show up and become a.
We need a Star Trek bounty hunter. That's a good point. That'd be good to have a Star Trek bounty hunter.
They had one. That was what's her name? Christopher Plummer's daughter, Amanda Plummer. And Picard, wasn't she like a bounty hunter type of thing?
No, I thought she was a changeling.
Well, she was, but at first I thought she was just like a rogue, like an alien looking for somebody.
I didn't get bounty. There is a bounty hunter on Lower Decks. There's that woman that is kind of Berman's rival. She's kind of like a cross between Vash from Next Generation and a bounty hunter, Picard's old girlfriend.
But you know what? Why hasn't this ever been thought of on Star Trek? For God's sakes, all those times Kirk or any of the captains have interfered with the culture, why doesn't why don't they hire a bounty hunter to go after them? Or pirates? Yeah, we do.
Well, Mike, I think
they had that skinny girl. What was her name on season 1? The Spock. I'm sorry. Okay, I don't remember. She was a very thin actress.
No, the woman. She was Skybox. Yeah, she was an.
Yeah. What was her name? She was actually a good character. I don't remember. And she was an original character. Well,
and also, by the way, why didn't she and Sybok come back this season the way they set things up? Mike, I think there's a difference between a pirate and a bounty hunter, but that's me.
Well, one does it for money, and one who pissed.
What do you mean who pissed it? Nobody pissed it.
I'll tell you who. Life did, buddy. Life got in my cereal. Every morning I wake up like this.
John Ostrander would be very
proud
to say, let's put Grimjack.
Maybe he could be in Sinosphere and just come across in the bar. That would be awesome. I would watch that all day long if Grimjack managed to walk aboard the Enterprise.
I'm going to ask when Wayne and Franco come back, I will ask them for their full season assessment. But I'll ask you now. I'll start and say I gave this season a C-. I really liked 3 episodes. This last episode, even the crossover, because they telegraphed it, and I think it was very funny.
Yeah.
And the MASH episode, the PTSD episode. Those are my 3 favorites. So I like those 3. I felt there were 5 that had moments, but at the end of the day, they were run-of-the-mill. And in fairness, there are a lot of run-of-the-mill episodes of all the other Trek shows back in the day during Rick Berman and the original series. So I'll cut them a little bit of slack. But then there were those 2 other gimmick episodes, Spock Being Human and the musical, that I'm like, you only have 10 episodes. You went to the well too many times. That's why I gave it a C-. What's your thought?
It was a very uneven season. For 10 episodes, it was almost like roller coaster. I'm like, hey. And out of all the ones that I did like, out of 10 episodes, geez, you could count them up. The season finale, I actually like the time travel alternate universe type of thing because I like those storylines on all Treks, the time travel. When she went to the other with Kirk, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah.
But I didn't like them introducing that TSA variants type of time cop type of thing.
Well, that's an old Trek. That's an old Trek trope going back to Voyager and DS9. But go on.
Yeah. But okay, those two I liked. I don't know.
Like the crossover?
Oh yeah, the crossover was brilliant. That was great with the Lower Decks people. So that's 3, and maybe one more. So maybe like 4 out of 10 I thought were really watchable, and the other ones were kind of a slog to go through. And I was just like rolling my eyes, going, "How much longer?" I thought the trial of number 1 was going to be a bigger deal, and I was surprised how that just became a big talky episode.
And again, they cut the legs out from the other side of the argument rather than present a really balanced, nuanced, like, okay, this is a real question. What do we do here? And instead it was, no, bad Starfleet. You're discriminating. And it's like, it's not that simple.
I was expecting it to be like the Measure of the Man type of episode, literally, where they were going to go to bat for number 1, and Pike was going to almost profess that he's in love with her or whatever, because that's his number 1 person. That's his first officer. That's the one he looks to. That's a relationship I don't see at all on this show. I always thought that, like I told you, that Spock is Kirk's guy, and then I thought she was going to be the major character along with Christopher Pike, not Spock. I mean, we know who Spock is. He's going to have his own stuff with Kirk down the road. So I thought this was going to be Una's time to shine. Agree. And she was going to be on every episode. And even Dr. Mbenga, you could have had, like, that's their Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, except it's those 3. It's Pike, Una, and Mbenga.
Well, I agree with you.
But now it's shifted to the Nurse Chapel romance Hallmark show, and that's become too big a plot line every week.
Pike needs, I agree with you, Pike needs, and I think in very, very small doses, Una has served that role as, someone that he can lean on.
Yeah, but
but very few scenes, very, very few. And also, if I may, going back to the cage, you had that Pike Dr. Boyce relationship. And I suppose Mbenga could fill that role as well. But no, I agree with you. I suppose Captain Battelle, to a degree, has filled that role a bit. But also now she's on thin ice. No, I think Pike does, or even Admiral April could have been a guy that could at least could. There's the potential, but no, Pike really has.
No, he's got nobody to confide in. He's not going to confide into a superior officer.
Right.
We already saw him fighting with his girlfriend here. He's not going to confide in her. She's yelling at him. This is not the way you do stuff, Chris. You need somebody who's on the. You need like the BJ and Hawkeye. You need somebody who's there every day on the ship living with you.
Or the way that Kirk or McCoy and Spock were there for Kirk and like
they've been through a lot of shit together. Yeah, but no, and then because there's all those unseen episodes that we never saw. But before
I hear you, Mitch, but I
would assume this relationship has been ongoing because we've all made it up in our heads.
It clearly is. Look at how. Once she was cleared of all charges, he couldn't help himself. He embraced her. Yeah. Because and you saw that.
Well, I never thought it was a romantic thing.
No. I'm not saying that. Let me finish, please. Good Lord, man. No, what I'm saying is this is a deep friendship. And that's why he went to the augment world to get the lawyer for her. And it's like, no. This is my friend. I'm not going to let her fry. And so they've established the basics. But you're right. There are no payoffs of, all right, Una, I need your help. I need your advice here. What do I do? As opposed to that stupid moment at the cliffhanger. I don't know what to do. But
no. Or it would set the framework up. Spock would be in the background witnessing how much Pike went to bat for her, and then that sets the seed years later when he goes to bat for Pike, when he goes and breaks him out to take him back to town.
Absolutely.
That would have been the perfect show to see how much a captain would go for his first officer and vice versa, and then Spock.
But I like the older younger brother relationship between Spock and Pike. I'm okay with that, and it's still that's what makes them an answer.
Spock is still young and goofy at his job, so we're okay with that.
And again,
he shouldn't be goofy,
right?
But
right, and that is another massive complaint I have about, especially this season. Whereas I keep saying they've turned Spock into a 14-year-old freshman. Exactly. That's a good yearbook picture of Spock in his freshman year. I'm here. Hi, ladies. Okay. Well done. Well played.
And that episode where he switched to a human, Jesus Christ, that was like watching. Mom. It was like watching Bewitched. I thought I was watching an episode of fucking Bewitched.
That's what I said.
Or I Dream of Jeannie. Any of that old magic shit.
Yeah, all the magic's going on, and the new
Dr. Bellows. Oh, if they had a Captain Bellows, I would have loved it. Like, oh, Admiral Bellows. What is going on here, Major Nelson? Yes.
I didn't know Hayden. By the way, total aside, and there's nothing wrong with that. I had no idea Hayden Rourke was gay, but apparently the gentleman was gay.
Dr. Bellows?
Dr. Bellows was gay. They gave him a hot wife on that show. I was a big fan of him.
It wasn't real.
Very milfy. Very milfy. Oof. God. Hey, Langley's here. Hold on, Langley.
It was hard for people to work with Barbara Eden. Wow. So they had,
Langley, my friend Scott said the same thing. I love that. I have that book. I love that.
It's a great book. Let's talk. Fuck Star Trek.
Hold on. No, there's still plenty of Trek to talk about. Put it down. Langley's right. The entire second season was incoherent. No through line.
Thank you, Langley.
My buddy Scott Larson said the same thing. They couldn't decide on a tone for this.
That's right. Is it going to be funny? Is it going to be serious? It was all over the place.
Yeah, and again, I appreciate the experimentation on a very basic level. I don't think the execution was to my satisfaction.
Yeah, but what is the barometer? What are they going to do? Look back at episodes, what do you call it, and say, hey, this one scored better. I don't know how they do it with streaming anymore. I don't know how ratings work with streaming.
Well, they know the numbers.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but do they go back and go, well, this one tested better, or this one was viewed more than those episodes, so let's do more of those because that increases viewership. I don't know if it's that basic,
Frakes was quoted in an article this week regarding Star Trek Legacy, and he's like, come on, it's a foregone conclusion. Season 3 of Picard broke through the top 10 of most watched streaming shows in general.
Right.
And it's like, they'd be stupid to ignore that and not have Legacy. I hear you, Mitch. I have no idea.
It's stupid. We're going to go to network. It's like military intelligence. How many shows stay on that should never be on to begin with, or other shows that are canceled way before they should have? And you're like, hey, wait a minute. That was actually a good show.
Police Academy or Police Squad, the Naked
Police
Gun TV
Academy.
show.
Yeah, that's.
Not the movies. Police Squad, the Leslie Nielsen TV show, gets canceled after 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Wins the Emmy for Best Comedy that year, and then everybody wises up and they make three great
movies out of it.
movies.
Yep.
So man.
Look at Star Trek. 3 seasons. Then it goes into syndication. They go, wait, we had a hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, we don't have that anymore. We canceled all that stuff with the Beverly Hillbillies.
And it still took them 10 years to make a goddamn movie after that.
Yeah.
No, again, stupid is as stupid does. Forrest Gump is right.
I don't know what's happening out there. I'd love to be a fly on the wall. We were a totally different subject. My friends and I were going off about the marketing of the last Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny and how they fucked that up. And we were like, they really didn't know how to sell this movie at all. And that's
what could they have done better, Mitch? Honestly, I don't know.
Well, because they're going into it, they got an 80-year-old hero, and they never really had that before. And they're trying to sell an 80-year-old hero to a younger audience, and that doesn't know who Indiana Jones was because it's been so many years. Their parents knew who they were, but we're not the ones that go to the movies yet. Barbie, universal license, everybody, mom, grandma, everybody knows what Barbie is. Oppenheimer is another weird thing because my kid both my sons have seen it twice, which is mind-boggling to me because it's like, what are you getting out of this? I don't get it. They're not history buffs. They're way too young to know about World War II. They're only in their 20s. Is it the direction? I have no idea.
Is great.
Huh?
Chris Nolan is great. On Barbie versus Indiana Jones, though.
Yes.
You had a brand new first movie that was purposely making fun in a good-natured way about Barbie versus the fifth and the Indiana Jones movie. I do think the trailers were pretty goddamn spectacular for Indy, and especially given that it was an 80-year-old guy, but also intercutting all those scenes from the first act when it's still back in the 40s and stuff. I mean, he looked like goddamn.
No. I look. If you watch it, hopefully it finds an audience. It's not going to help its box office. That's all that counts. But it's not a bad movie. It's not deservedly. But then again, look at Mission Impossible. That's like what $100 million under what they thought it was going to make. I think pop culture and entertainment right now is such in a blender. No one could pull something out of their ass and say this is a surefire hit because they don't know. Even the Marvel movies were misfiring left and right.
Sure. Yeah, but honestly, Mitch, as we've said, it's a combination of people getting used to watching these movies at home because of COVID. I think they are spending money like drunken sailors. And this is the 8th Mission Impossible movie, 9th?
Yeah, 8th.
Okay. I mean, yeah, man, you go to the world too many times, diminishing returns.
I'm just wondering if COVID never happened, wish it never did. I think Hollywood weren't they on track for like a record box office? Wasn't everything like everything was making money? Like everything was hitting Disney Plus.
So far, it was so long ago, I couldn't tell you. I mean, obviously, Endgame represented such a triumph.
It was the peak.
Yes, and that was 18. That was 2018.
Yeah.
So 5 years ago. Hey, man, as I say in every, and I don't want to turn this political, in every presidential cycle, a lot can happen in 4 years.
Right.
A lot of the front runners end up being nobodies by the time the rubber hits the road. Yeah. So God only knows.
I'm bringing it back to entertainment.
No, I realize. I think but honestly, regardless, I think streaming in general started to chip away at the movie-going audience wanting to see stuff at home. I think it would have likely happened a bit slower. I do think COVID accelerated everything, but I think that was the direction we're going in. And streaming, all the studios thought, oh, this is great. And it's turned out, no, it's costing us money.
Not only
at the box office and the lack of subscribers that they're not getting.
Not only is it costing them stuff, but my friend in Australia was just devastated the other day when he heard one of them, I think Disney announced they were no longer going to make physical media for Australia. They're not going to start making whatever 4K DVDs or whatever the hell you want to call it, Blu-rays. So everything's just permanent stream. That's where we're going now. So unless you subscribe to something, you're never going to own it. I mean, you could cancel your Apple, your Amazon subscription tomorrow. You lose all the fucking downloads you had. You stop your Apple subscription tomorrow. You got your Paramount if you don't have Paramount Plus, but they are doing DVDs. I already have it, Star Trek 1. But when does that end? When does Strange New Worlds Season 2 come out? We're not going to do that anymore.
I think physical media, as much as they've been trying to eliminate it, I do think there is still a buying audience that if the studios themselves don't want to be in the physical media business anymore, I could see them licensing as they have to these smaller Anchor Bay and companies like that. That's their business, is putting out physical media. So we'll see.
I was going to say my Hulu thing. I got a thing the other day. Do I want to continue with Hulu? If I want it ad free, I got to pay $17.99. If I want, and I know Disney Plus, I've heard rumors that they might throw ads in unless you pay for a higher thing. Do they realize that the revenue stream from streaming is not as big as they thought it was going to be? Yes. They're not doing the digital media. Disney is not selling DVDs of, 101 Dalmatians or whatever they want.
Or the Marvel stuff.
The Marvel stuff too. So where do they go next with this stuff? Where do they? I mean, there's no Star Trek 4 movie coming out.
Well, I honestly believe, in general, not just physical media, but in general, Sony has been the smartest company because they make stuff and then they license it to the streamers or whatever else they do to generate money. And I do think because of what's happening, a lot of these companies, hell, Paramount themselves, as you know, yanked the Star Trek movies, all the TOS and Next Generation movies from Paramount and licensed them to HBO for 6 months.
Yeah.
And that's what, and they made money on that. I'm sure they made good money on that. So it's going to be interesting. Here's some comments from the chat about it. Mike says DVDs, Blu-rays are like LP records. There's still enough of a market for the right vendor, Mike. I completely agree.
It's like comic books. I mean, we know that. I mean, comic book stores are not like they used to be, but I still buy them.
Yeah,
Fast
as
track
Langley said, COVID fast-tracked this whole digital world. Stanley wants to know if we have speculation for Strange New World Season 3 plots. My fear is we're going to see more TOS characters
Oh
introduced.
God, yeah.
I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. But I have a feeling astrophysicist, whatever kind of biology guy Sulu is going to show up the way he was in.
I'm surprised we don't see Khan's girlfriend from the show. What was her name?
Oh, MacGyver's.
MacGyver's. Why not? Bring her on the ship.
Well, because again, she's not introduced till Space Seed.
Yeah, well, Scotty wasn't introduced until this. Well, it depends on which movie you're talking about.
No, it's forget about Kelvin.
Because I think Kirk doesn't meet him until the Kelvin universe.
He's in Where No Man Has Gone Before. He's in the second pilot with Gary Mitchell. That's where Scotty is.
All right.
Scotty's running the
train. Where's Dr. Boyce?
I hear you, and I don't disagree. And I love John Hoyt in that one goddamn performance. Gave so much character to Dr. Boyce.
Right.
Or Dr. Piper from Where No Man Has Gone Before. I mean, if you want to rush Bones, I wouldn't. And instead, I would show Dr. Piper or Dr. Boyce. But I guess technically, Boyce's time was before Strange New Worlds because it was back in the cage, and the cage happened.
So he's already been on. We just didn't see him. He's off the show.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's fine. That's an explanation.
Chris wants Martha MacGyver's to hook up with Lon. Or does he want to change the gender?
Oh, because it's Khan. Oh, that'd be weird, huh? That would really be weird. No, but what I was going to ask you too. What do you know anything about the Star Trek online video games? How much revenue is generated from that? Because that's been going for years.
Yes, it has. I don't know.
I see commercials. When I see commercials with Frakes and LeVar Burton and Brent Spiner, that ain't cheap. And they're advertising those online. Maybe some people like Langley, somebody plays it out there. How much money does that cost a year to subscribe to it?
I don't know. Mike says
we need a puppet episode. Oh, yeah.
An animation, a puppet episode.
Absolutely. Claymation, just like the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer stuff. The Rankin and Bass presents Star Wars.
Love that shit.
That'd be great.
The very week I gave them credit for not using Scotty at the start of season 2, and then this episode.
Yep.
Yeah, because we did get teased with Scotty in episode 10 of
season 1. Do you think
1.
Dr. Corby's going to be on? Because they've talked about him.
I am Roger Corby.
Look, it's me.
Christine,
it's me.
This could be repaired. As simple as
you should honestly go back to the old show and just list all the characters that were referenced before, and then see if they show up on Strange New Worlds. Like off screen that they said, oh, what about Finnegan, Kirk's rival there?
Jimmy, my boy. Jimmy, you're an old
Why not? He was played by Greg Grunberg in the movies. Greg Grunberg does not look like them. There you go, Lifetime.
Yeah,
I haven't played it in years. Okay.
Yeah.
No, so how much?
You're gonna read the whole goddamn line, Mitch.
I'm sorry. I still have a lifetime sub to STO Star Trek Online, I suppose. Haven't played in years. But how much are they whacking your credit card? Is what I want to know. Like $40 a year?
Oh, that's hilarious. Sorry, Mike has a suggestion for a claymation. Wallace and Gromit and Ron Jeffries tubes. I love Wallace and Gromit. Good stuff, man.
And it's all about Klingon cheese.
Now, Langley says he enjoyed the way they used Scotty compared to Kirk. Again, my only complaint is too young. Too young. No. And again, hey, man.
No, not him. The Jim Carrey Kirk. I don't like him at all.
Oh, yeah. No, he sucks. He sucks. Sorry. And no disrespect, Paul Wesley. You're a fine actor. You're just horribly miscast.
I want to see Cyrano Jones on the show. Why not? We already had Mud.
No. We don't need him until the goddamn Tribbles and TOS. No more. No. I don't want to see Harry Mudd. I don't want to see Cyrano Jones.
I want to see Zephyr
I don't want to
Cochran.
see Samuel Cogley. What? Who?
I want to see Zephyr Cochran in the Cloud. Maybe they'll go by that,
No, he's off.
Maybe we'll go.
He's off getting hand jobs.
You know what? They should go back to the Halloween planet. Remember those two weird Halloween creatures? That was fucked up. I watched that.
Was fucked up.
Yeah.
That always did unsettle me as a child.
Right? Oh my god! And at the end, when they turned into those little things,
those icky kind of things.
Yeah.
Yes, here's some yarn and string. All right.
Wait a minute. What about the space hippies? Maybe they could bump into them, buy some space weed, some space.
Stepping out to Eden. Yeah, brother.
I'm okay. Just got a bill of health from Dr. McCoy, whatever it was.
That's right.
Things like Charles Napier, late great Charles Napier.
Mr.
I like
Vic
old
says-
fat. That's right.
Yeah, see, Mr. Vic says I like old fat Scotty, but this
I
guy,
liked young skinny Mitch too back in the day, but he's long gone.
I don't know, man.
We all turned into old fat Scotty eventually.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, good Lord. I know. Sorry, man.
No, go ahead.
I
Whatever.
told you about this drama that's happening off the air with
Okay.
a good friend of mine, and all these friends.
Yeah,
are like, oh my God,
yeah.
what's happening? And I'm like, all right, I can't talk right now. I'm sorry.
Do you think we'll ever see?
No, they cannot run into Nomad. Chris.
Nomad. Run into Nomad. What about?
Chris, you're awesome. You're killing me tonight, man. Everybody's killing me in the
What
chat.
about Gary Seven? Was that his name?
No.
Yes.
I don't like Gary. I would listen. I'm okay with Gary Mitchell if he is working with Kirk. I forget which ship Kirk is on.
The Farragut.
Yes, thank you. If Gary Mitchell is on the Farragut with Kirk, I'm okay with that. Yeah, I don't know.
I want to meet Joanna McCoy, Dr. McCoy's ex-wife.
Yeah, I know.
Why
I
the
remember her.
fuck
Sure.
not?
She was supposed to show up in season 4, Joanna.
What?
So they say strange Star Trek Online still averages 60 to 80,000 users a day.
Holy shit.
2.7 million players total.
Fuck me. That's probably as many as watch Paramount Plus.
Fuck
It
me.
is.
I don't know, man. You might be right. I have no idea.
And how much does that cost? Paramount Plus cost me what, $6 a month?
Right.
Something like that.
Something
I'm
like
sure
that.
the Star Trek Online is up there.
Sure.
And then you got to buy extra shit, like if you
Yeah,
want like,
that's
spaceship.
thankfully I have never gotten sucked into any of these online games for that very reason. It's like, no, man, they keep hitting you up for
No,
money.
you know what,
That's
Tim?
right.
I want to know. Where's Wayne? All the licensed stuff. He just went to the Star Trek con. There's the Star Trek comic books that come out. I've been buying the blood thing.
Did you buy the doll that you showed us the picture of Burnham?
No, it was $3.
Cheap.
It was
I
at
should've-
Walmart, and I'm like, wow, that much, $3. The Michael Burnham action figure was down to $3, and I was like, do I want to buy it? I'm like, no, I don't want to buy it because it would probably fix all of my other dolls' problems if I put them in the background. I come in tomorrow, everything's clean. So those witch aliens look like celery vegetables, which did freak me out when I was young.
I assume he's talking about Cat Spock. Yeah.
A lot of old Star Trek freaked me out.
I don't want Trelane to show up.
Oh,
I
I would like that. Who would play?
Why? It doesn't.
Who
No.
would play
Even in the
Trelane?
TOS. Good Lord,
Who would
please.
play him?
Who would play Trelane today?
Sean Hayes.
Adam Driver.
Sean Hayes.
Sean Hayes would be an excellent
Would
Trelane.
be perfect.
I love
Yeah.
Sean Hayes. He's awesome.
I do too.
Do you listen to Smartless, his
I
podcast?
do. We were watching the documentary on HBO or whatever they Max now.
Yeah, I know what you. Yeah.
Yeah, because they went on the road and they were there.
Sean Hayes is Trelane. Fantastic. Fabulous.
You know why? Because he plays the piano. He's a beautiful pianist, and I could see him doing the harpsichord. We could go.
Langley agrees with me. No, create goddamn new stuff.
No, go to the gangster planet. Go to the gangster planet.
Chris wants Adam Driver as Finnegan. I love that music.
Oh God, no! Oh God, Big Air Driver is Finnegan? No.
That fist fight cracks me up.
You know what would be a good Finnegan? Never do it though. Tom Holland.
Sure.
I could see.
Oh no, I was thinking of Tom who played Shinzon. Not Tom
Hardy. Oh God,
Tom
no.
Hardy.
No.
You need a guy that could kick Kirk's ass. But
if he was younger,
Tom Holland, no. Spider-Man is Finnegan, no. Thank you.
No, if he was younger, you know who would be good? The redheaded guy from Band of Brothers and Homefront. What's the actor I'm thinking?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh, you know him in a minute.
I never saw Band of Brothers. Shame on me.
Really?
No, I never did. I know how great it is.
It's like Star Trek without phasers.
Really? That's great.
Hey
man, that's
instead of Nazis, instead of Klingons, they got Nazis. It's great.
That's good to hear. Hell, that's Hunt for Red October and Master and Commander are both Star Trek movies that aren't Star Trek.
Compared Band of Brothers to Star Trek. How fucking out of touch am I?
So you're thinking of Damian Lewis?
Damian Lewis, yes.
Sure, and I know him from Billions. Okay, sure.
Yeah, if he was younger, he'd be a good Finnegan, but everybody's miscast.
You know
what you get? Conan O'Brien as Finnegan, but he's too old now. Jimmy, me boy!
He would be great, and he should bounce around and make his hair flip around like he does and everything. I could totally see that.
I could totally see Conan O'Brien.
You're an old man. Did you feel that now? Rest Jimmy.
Why don't they mind the
I love
fucking
that episode.
cartoon for it? They could get the Kubla Khan thing. Remember that? For the cartoon?
No, I don't.
What was the name of Spock's big cat dog thing he had?
Oh, the Ceylon.
Bring that on.
I try it.
Why not?
I try it. No, no, honestly, I would love to see maybe in one of these sequel shows, I would love to see where Finnegan is now compared to when he was in the academy and everything.
What about the crazy captain that was in the mental hospital with Batgirl? Remember she was all green?
Oh, yeah. Garth of
G.
Izar. Garth of Izar.
Garth, that's it.
Garth is in, Captain Garth is in, God, I can't think of his name now. The people that made Prelude to Axanar.
Yes.
Garth is the main character, and they're making, I mean, God, they've been, Jesus Christ.
But I'm just saying, throw him on this show. Why not? Go get him. You've used him up. And he could be like a crazy captain. He could be like their freaking Captain Kurtz.
He could be a sane captain in Pike's era before he goes nuts.
Or we start to see the seeds of insanity. Let's write that show, Johnny.
I'm for it. I'm so for it. Absolutely.
Maybe Spock should go off the show for a while.
That ain't gonna happen.
You know who I would love to see?
Who?
What's that weird alien shit thing from the cartoon?
Who?
You know, the weird ET looking thing.
BEM. That episode.
No, the one that Chekhov did the voice for. He was the.
He didn't do. No, he wrote one.
No, they didn't have Chekhov on the cartoon, but they had that.
Oh, Eriks, Mr. Eriks.
Yeah, let's see him on the show. They showed him on one of the things, right?
I showed you that toy company that is making this really interesting stuff with the Roddenberry archive. They did a CGI Eriks, and it looked fantastic.
Really?
Fantastic. Oh, yeah.
I would pay money to see him.
If I can find it, I will post it here.
I want him on the show. Why not?
Oh God, you're killing me, man.
They don't have any aliens on the show.
No,
other than Spock, they don't. I mean, the other one had what's his name? The big tall thing. What's his name?
I don't remember.
You know, the guy I've been getting to the show, and he always cancels on me every fucking year. The big, tall, skinny guy from Hell.
Oh yeah, Saru.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, Mitch.
I'm just saying, all the other shows you had Neelix, the fucking Jar Jar Binks of Star Trek. He was there. Everybody has a special alien.
Oh, and yes, I agree. Everyone's saying Chris and Langley are talking about Emrys, who was the Catwoman communications officer.
Yes,
in the cartoon.
Man.
Yeah. Well, you know, my guys Jackson Lanzig and Colin Kelly are taking elements from the animated series and putting them into their IDW Star Trek comics, and they had the Orions in those cowl masks that they wore in the animated series, and it looked fantastic in comics because it's the same thing. And I told you they took the security officer from Lower Decks, Jenks or whatever his name.
Yeah. And you know who I want to see on the show? Commodore Decker.
Matt Decker, sure.
Yeah.
Again, let's get Matt Decker before the breakdown, of course.
Before he flips out and he loses everybody to the Doomsday Machine. I want to see that. Why not?
I don't know who Rions is.
Oh, Rions. Oh, is that one of the characters I was screaming about?
I don't know.
Oreo cookies?
Yeah, it's Oreos. Yeah, it's Oreos.
Star Trek I'd eat those.
Sure, me too.
Why not? I've eaten all the other ones.
No.
Can they come up with some like Oreos?
I wanted a show from. I was at Fan Expo this weekend.
That's correct. Show your pictures.
Chicago, and among the people I got to talk to was, come on, put it up. The great Captain Shaw.
That's right.
Stashwick.
He's a cool dude.
What a good guy. Good Lord, what a great guy. Honestly, it was so great meeting him. I gushed. He was great about it. And he's a Chicago guy, which is even better. So I was telling him the radio stations I worked at. He didn't remember me on those, but he didn't know the radio stations.
Yeah.
God, that would have been cool. I'm like, yeah, it was fantastic.
He could come on as Captain Shaw's grandfather.
Supposedly, if they do Star Trek Legacy, he and Metalis, they haven't made details, but they have a plan. That's all he said. They were at GalaxyCon Raleigh.
Oh, yeah.
There was a panel with the Trek experts and Gates McFadden, Metalis, and Stashwick, and Terry and Todd are like, listen, we understand. They're like, Captain Shaw is dead. However, we have a plan.
Wait, they talked about Star Trek material at that
Well,
convention?
Terry was able to because as a
He's a
producer, he's not under the Writers Guild
Correct.
or actors restrictions.
Yes.
And Todd was very careful and would defer to Terry when they would have questions like that. So, God, I didn't know about Chakotay, Robert Beltran.
Yeah.
Man,
That
he
train
really
went off the tracks, buddy.
he drew a line, and I not only do I think he upset the gay and trans communities, but also I think a lot of hetero cisgender guys and women are going to be like, that wasn't cool, man. And
he went against his union thing because you're not supposed to talk about projects related to studios because they're on strike. So,
yeah, Langley's right. Check out Terry Metalis' episode on the Shuttle Pod podcast that Malcolm and Tripp host, which is a great show. So yeah. Oh yeah, and Langley agrees. Yeah, that Beltran was a massive dick. Yeah, it's really disappointing, man. Because I've always liked him as an actor, even before Star Trek. Eating Raoul, I think, is a very funny dark comedy. But yeah, it is kind of messed up, as Mr. Vic says, that he would step out of line like that. That's pretty.
Union, what do they say? Union is where he done mess up. What happened? Union is where
he done messed up. So crossing the Union is where he messed up, and honestly, I would. Again,
trust me. That's why I was just asking you about those fucking panels, because you damn well know if we had the go ahead, we had it planned for months about what we were going to talk about. We were going to talk about Trek. We were going to talk about Indiana Jones, all this stuff. But I respected the union rules because I'm a good guy, and I said we won't put anybody in a situation where they're uncomfortable or they can't do it.
Well, and as you know, I'm a SAG union member, but as a broadcast journalist, forgive it, but that's what I'm classified as. I get an exception for being able to do the podcast and stuff. I absolutely, we both, and really, I know I speak from Franco and Wayne as well. We all support the writers. We all support the actors.
Yeah.
They are more than due fair compensation for their work. These things should not be side gigs, and there's got to be a way to satisfy
spread the wealth.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
No, it's pretty lousy, man. Pretty lousy.
Yeah, you should be doing slave wages for these people.
I was going to also forgive me, everybody. I know we're talking Trek, but I wanted to point out too, from a word balloon standpoint, I had the chance to see Frank Miller, and there's his great business partner, Selene Thomas, and they have been incredibly great to me. And unfortunately, they're not willing to talk until after these strikes are solved. But they are working.
Johnny, don't wrap up. There's more space.
Let me finish my thought, please. There's a Frank Miller documentary that they've been making for the last 7 years, and apparently I helped them in a small way. I'll talk about it when it happens. But they were incredibly kind. Frank was not taking photos with fans. This is an exception.
Good thing you're not a fan.
Well, Selene is like, she's like, this is John from the Word Balloon podcast. Oh, okay, yeah. I shook my hand. And I said, Frank, I know you're not taking photos. No, absolutely. This is personal. Absolutely. I'm like, okay, cool. You know what's awesome, everybody? Jim Kruger, the good Marvel writer who did Earth X and other great Marvel stories and DC stories as well. This is how quickly in a generation people can forget you, because the people that were working Frank's booth, not Selene or Frank, but these other people are like, I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. And I'm like, no. He's a real Marvel writer, because they wanted to charge him. Frank was asking if you brought something to be signed, $80 a signature. $80.
Wait, he was going to charge Jim Kruger?
Well, he wasn't going to, but the people running the booth are like, well, it's 80, before
that is.
And he's like, no, I'm a peer. I'm Marvel, because
I remember
Claremont came up, and certainly, everyone was being nice to Claremont, but yeah, it's like, no, Jim's legit. And so I saw Selene, and I'm like, I'm pointing to Jim. I'm like, Selene, it's Jim Kruger. He's legit. He really did work with Frank. And she's like, oh, yeah, okay, fine. And then he got up, and Frank was great. Frank's like, Jim, good to see you. Shakes his hand. Oh, you remember that? Of course I remember that. And it's like, All right, all the kids are, and I'm sure they're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's awkward. I
But
remember
that's what happens.
Rich Buckler tried to charge me $3 for a signature at my own convention that I invited him to and paid for his freaking train and hotel and his appearance fee.
$3.
And I said, "Here, sign my death lock." And he signed it because that's $3. I said, "Kiss my ass, Buckler." And that
I
was
had
that.
him. I had him draw me a death lock. It's one of my favorite pieces that I own.
And how much did he charge you?
I don't remember, but it was cheap. No, this is before the prices went. I mean, this is back when you like Mike Kaluta drew me a shadow for $60. $60.
I know.
I'm sorry, Mitch. What were you going
I
to
said,
say?
well, before we signed off, because
Sure.
this is going on
no,
for
no.
like, this is going the distance, as they say. And there's no Franco and Wayne to shut us down. But another space show that I'm a big fan of also returns this week in an animated form, and that would be J. Michael Straczynski, a former guest at Terrificon. Babylon 5 comes out on Tuesday on streaming.
And DVD.
Physical media. Oh, physical media.
Yeah, Blu-ray and HD and 4K. Yeah, everything.
Tell us about it, Johnny.
No, actually, I believe it is available now on Vudu. So if you get Vudu, if you want to get Vudu, you can rent it there.
Oh, Vudu.
And I think, well, actually, I don't know. I know I saw it on Amazon as a digital thing. They sold out of the Blu-ray on Amazon. So go to deepdiscount.com, and I was able to purchase one with.
Oh, that sucks because I love that. I didn't buy that yet. Oh,
I'm very excited for this. No, Wayne saw it at San Diego Comic-Con. They had a screening of it. And got it. No, it sounds great. The only thing that, and Mitch and I were talking about this, too many alternate universes as far as sci-fi trope right now. Everybody's beating that to death. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't like the time travel episode.
So it's not a prequel or a sequel, it's a parallel.
It's a continuation after the 5th season because it starts with Sheridan. Well, it's before Sheridan dies, but it's in that period where he's president of the Earth Alliance or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm very excited to see it. I hope we'll talk about it. If you, me, and Wayne are the only people, and Franco,
maybe we will, because I will go watch it because I was a huge fan of Babylon.
Oh God, yeah.
Though I swear I only watched it when it was in syndication, like on every day on what was that, TNT I think, or TBS.
Yeah,
one of
TNT.
them used to show it every day, and I used
TNT.
to come home from work, and it was on like every night at like 10 o'clock, and 5 days a week, and that's when I watched it because I didn't really watch it when it first was week to week, you know. But some shows like that work better as a soap opera when it's on every day.
Agreed.
And you can see all the plot lines and the characters and who's doing what to where, and you watch it like before binge watching was a thing. You know, if you watch it all at once, this is before
just like you, Mitch. I was like that with Babylon 5 and also Buffy and Angel. And I came to Angel first because an old radio boss of mine is like, you'll love Angel. He's like a plainclothes Batman. And I'm like, all right, you got my attention. And I watched the last season that was on the WB back in the day. Right. And then they had the reruns running on TNT. So I watched that, and he's like, well, if you really like Angel, you may as well watch Buffy. And I'm like, yeah, because I thought, like most teen shows, I'm fucking old. I don't need to watch about it. And that's driving me nuts about Star Trek because it plays like a bad teen romance.
I didn't understand. It's a Star Trek related story. When I saw Jerry O'Connell at Terrificon, he was there supporting Rebecca Romijn from Star Trek, so it's all tied together. And I said, oh, hey, Jerry. Oh, Jerry. Last time I saw you was with Rebecca when we were at the premiere of the Death of Superman animated film a couple years ago. And at the time, he wore a blue suit with Superman logos all over it to the premiere. And he goes, oh, I just gave that suit away to Jack Quaid. And I'm thinking, well, okay, Jack Quaid from Lower Decks, why? And I just realized this weekend when I was watching Max that there's a very cool new Superman animated show called My Adventures with Superman. And lo and behold, who is the voice of Clark Kent and Superman but yet Mr. Jack Quaid himself? So now it all makes sense why Jerry gave him that suit, because he's
very
the
good show.
Animated Superman.
Very good show.
It's done in an almost anime style, which
absolutely. Oh no, it absolutely looks like anime. But that's
trying to get a younger audience. So
yeah, and also no, it's great. And they, I think Lois looks a little too young, but that's okay.
Well, they're like college ages, I think.
No, they're interns.
21.
You're right. They're interns at the Daily Planet.
Right.
So yeah,
but no, it's a cool show. So if you want to watch some animated Superman, is great. Did they really do? I didn't get that far. Thanks.
Hold on. Mike says my adventure with Superman is great, but they did just do a multiverse episode.
Stop with the fucking multiverse shit.
Yeah, no shit. Oh, you're killing me, man. That's awesome.
Okay. Well, this week's The Blue Beetle. I will be seeing that movie with Jerry Ordway.
If you give it a good review, Mitch, I might consider watching it.
I don't know where it takes place anymore. Is it in the James Gunn world? Is it not?
No, it's not. This is. They may incorporate it into James's plans, but this was all made before James took over.
Well, what was the last one I just saw? And they said, "Oh no, this is good." Oh, The Flash. They said, "Oh no, this Flash is going to connect into."
No, yeah, only in the sense that again they're introducing this multiverse idea. Well, I understand it. I agree. But just like the next Matt Reeves Batman movie and the Joker movie, these are all nothing is set until Creature Commandos animated and Superman Legacy. That is the start. I mean, they can lip service as much as they want about Flash and about Blue Beetle, but these were made prior. And in fact, there was that. God, I had it on my thing to throw up on the screen. I finally took the image down where he had kind of, just like the Marvel breakdowns of and Star Wars projects. They had the timelines of
they did
stuff, and it was like Blue Beetle, Flash, Joker 2, and Matt Reeves Batman. Those are all outside of James Gunn's universe.
Elseworld stories.
Yes, right. That's what that's what it is. Well, thank you.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know that, and I know what Elseworlds means, and most of the people watching this show probably do, but the real public out there has no fucking clue with they think it's all, wait, that's the Joker? Is that Jack Nicholson? You don't know.
I understand, but I think, and I hope this is true, it sounds like James's plans are to have each movie stand on its own. Don't worry about connectivity.
That is correct.
And that's the best way to handle it. Each movie should just kind of do its own thing.
And eventually there will be a big, giant D-Day type of film where all these characters will meet up. But don't worry about when, and then don't worry about the big baddie. It's not going to be Thanos and type. Oh, well, I know it's not Marvel, but I'm saying from what I've been told by certain people that should know, he's going to just make little standalone movies with all these characters.
As it should be.
Like we used to have Frankenstein and Wolfman and Dracula.
The way that Marvel actually did it, one at a time.
Yeah, and then they all met, but you don't always have to worry about the end game, literally. So
Agreed. Stanley wants to know if we have any news from Wayne from Star Trek Con. We will next time Wayne is on.
We do. He has lots of
We had every intention of Wayne being on. He had and actually he's pretty convinced he got it at the Vegas Con at the Rio. Apparently the air quality in the Rio is just horrendous. And he got a really bad a nasty sinus infection. It's not COVID, but he is really hurting. And he's just like, my migraines and stuff. He goes, I just can't handle it.
You know where he didn't get that? At Terrificon at the Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut, because we got cool there.
I came back and did not have the usual con crud. So far, so good with Fan Expo this weekend.
I could actually talk a little bit this year, which is rare. I had a little bit of a voice, not much, but I wasn't a horse, but I wasn't a cow.
I hear you. What else?
No, that's it. So we got Star Trek.
So
Ahsoka shit coming on soon.
Right.
It's not called that, but it's called Ahsoka. It's a Star Wars story. I think the 2 episodes start on the 23rd.
Oh, there we go. That's only 10 days away.
Yeah, so there's something.
Yeah. Oh, no.
We'll lead into Strange New Worlds.
When we come back, we'll get Wayne and Franco's opinions on season 2. We'll talk more about season 2 as a whole of Strange New Worlds. We'll preview what we know about Lower Decks. I'm sure there's going to be more news in between. And we'll talk
about the Ready Room.
What's that?
Did you watch Ready Room? The last
this week's? No, I didn't. Did you?
No. But I know someone who did, and they said it was all about it didn't have any of the cast on because
it was all about the Gorn stuff, right?
it was more of a techie behind the scenes type
Yeah,
of thing and
yeah.
how they did stuff. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I don't know when they filmed these. I think they filmed Ready Rooms a long time ago.
Of course.
Because
No, I
it
agree.
was before the strike, I'm pretty sure. But
Yeah,
no,
but now the strike's been going on for a month from a SAG
Yeah,
standpoint.
yeah.
No, you're right. In fact,
Well, Will Wheaton couldn't be on, for God's sakes.
because again, it's considered a news capacity, and also I think out of respect of the actors,
Yeah,
that might be why this last one was more behind the scenes stuff.
yeah.
What was I going to say? I don't remember what I was going to say.
I don't know. When do you think the strike's going to end, Johnny?
I don't think till the end of the year, man.
Really? I've been
Yeah.
here in November, but that's still a
Well,
ways
it's close
away.
enough to the end of the year, but I just have a bad feel, and especially given once we get into the holidays, there's not going to be any production during Christmas and Thanksgiving and everything.
Nope.
No, I really think we're screwed. I mean, the great Anthony Michael Hall and I were discussing this at Terrificon on Sunday, and he's like, I think it's going to be till the end of the year, and I'm like, I so agree. I absolutely agree. Because again, I mean, we'll see that at least they're getting back to the negotiation table, at least with the writers. Apparently, I think at the beginning of this week, or they even on Friday, maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Mike says this week, very good. There were screenings for Enter the Dragon in cinemas for the 50th anniversary and 4K release. That's cool.
American Graffiti is going to be in theaters too for the 50th anniversary. I plan on
Wow. God
yeah,
damn.
50 years ago.
Insane.
You're old as shit.
Well, think of all the cast members that aren't around anymore. Paula Matt and Cindy
No,
Williams.
Paul Matt's still alive.
Oh, I thought Paula Matt
He
had
might
passed.
look like death, but no, he's still with us. I mean,
Is that
Cindy
true?
Williams is no longer here.
She's no longer with us.
But Harrison Ford is, Ronnie Howard is,
Wolfman Jack is no longer with us.
Charles Martin Smith is here, and
That's
Paul
true.
Matt, his career might be over, but he's still with us.
I'm looking it up.
Paul
You are
Matt's-
right. He is 77 years old.
He is. He's younger than Harrison
Wow.
Ford. Just looks like older.
Wow. Yeah, really. No shit. Jesus.
Candy Clark still with us. I hung out with Candy Clark once at a con. It was me, Sean Gunn, Dean Cain, Candy Clark, and somebody else. It was like a very odd. We were at an Elks Club in the middle of a Christmas comic convention, and hilarity ensues after that.
Langley wants to know if we've watched The Expanse yet.
Never saw it.
I honestly, it sounds so amazing. Is Stacy Keach? He's not in American Graffiti.
No, he's not, and he's not dead either.
But it's good to see you, G. Kuroko, as always. So thank you.
You know who is dead? Johnny Weissmuller Jr. He's in that movie.
Tarzan's son?
Tarzan's son was in American Graffiti
I
as
had
one
no
of the
idea.
badasses who fights with John Milner at the end.
All right, Chikuroho is Elkie Summers in an American Graffiti.
She's not in that movie, boy.
I don't know
She's
what movie
dead.
you're thinking of,
Elkie Summers
Chikuroho,
is-
but I love the fact
Elkie
that you're
Summers-
already
Suzanne
right.
Summers.
Hey, Ruth Buzzy is also still as
No,
Suzanne
no.
Summers
She's got
is-
the wrong Summers. Suzanne Summers
Yes.
is in that movie and is still with us. But Elkie Summers, I believe, is no longer with us.
Again, Langley and Mr.
Expanse
Vic
is really
really
good.
like it. No, it sounds great, and it sounds very Babylon 5 in that galaxy political
Yeah.
good sort of way.
You know what I did watch sci-fi wise? I watched Black Mirror.
Great
Season
show.
6. I caught up. It's like the British version of the Twilight Zone with some good old sex and violence. And I've been watching that. That's a really good.
Selma Hayek.
Yeah. Selma
Unbelievable.
Hayek's on
Great
it.
episode.
And there's some great only the British could write this type of humor. They go into a serial killer's apartment and it's very gross. And there's a demon character, and he says he looks like he wipes his ass with his apartment. It's one of the funniest lines I've ever heard.
Well,
But
as Langley said, I got to be in the right frame of mind.
oh
to watch
God, yeah,
Black
it's
Mirror,
depressing.
'cause it is incredibly
Fuck
depressing.
yeah,
But
Oh, God.
but also I love that Chikuro is like, no, but Stacy Keach is still kicking. Nice to be here, John. I just mean that Elkie Summers is still like, yeah, we know it, buddy, but we're talking about a specific movie. And again, I'm really glad that you're joining us.
You know
But
who
it's like,
else is
what does
probably
that have to
still
do with
alive?
anything?
You know who else is probably still alive? Joey Heatherton. Means nothing, but I used to like Joey Heatherton in
God,
the 70s.
She was,
Everybody did.
I'm just telling my friend to hang on.
Oh my God. Oh, you want to go take? You got real life problems out
No,
there.
I
and this is
understand.
important.
Yeah. I'll get to it. Hang on.
This is just for people that got nothing to do on a Sunday
I'm
night.
so sorry, everybody. No, I
Holy
apologize.
Chris.
Yeah, there you go. Showed it. Hold
That's
on.
a good book. Oh, right there. This is what I'm reading tonight, kids. By New York Times bestselling author.
I hope she's watching. Hi, Deb. I hope you're watching.
I hope so too, because I need to get some guests for next year's Terrificon, happening August 16th to the 18th.
Thank
Not
you for
to be
moving
confused with San Diego Comic Con.
Thank you for moving it, Mitch. Absolutely. No, that's. I think that's really smart from a guest standpoint, and I know from an attendee standpoint as well.
Adam Hughes should be at the show. He and I were talking.
Oh, that'd be great. I love Adam. I love his wife too. They're terrific.
Allison, if you're listening.
Allison, yes. Yes, I agree, Stanley. Good Omens is a great show.
Yes, that is a good show.
Very, very good show. Langley agrees. Good Omens is great. I'm curious.
Smartless. It has nothing to do with science fiction, but it's on Max. I keep calling it HBO.
Well, it's a great podcast, but yeah, they did a bunch of live shows,
yeah.
And the documentary shows them at their live shows. No, it's good.
I want to go see The Last Voyage of the Demeter. That opened, but everyone says it sucks, so don't even bother. I tried watching Super Mario Brothers. I fell asleep. I watched Renfield. It was okay.
Yeah, you said, yeah.
And
you
then
told Wayne and Franco and I that you.
I've been trying to catch up on all these shows that I'm home now, so I could look at everything.
Yeah, especially during this strike, I really want to get into The Expanse. So that is, I keep saying it, but I mean it. What did I watch? Oh, I'm still just savoring Fubar, the Schwarzenegger Netflix show, and I still have 2 episodes to go.
Yeah,
and I'm just enjoying it, and really kind of, I get like that with some streamers. I don't want it to end. Right. So I really will kind of, like wait to watch the last episodes as much as I can. So
no, I used to like bang them all out in a weekend, but you try to rush it and then you don't enjoy the show because you want to get to it so somebody doesn't spoil it. But you're like, shouldn't have done that.
Mr. Vic says for a comic book recommendation, The Six Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton from Image, really funny. Think a jerk Chuck Norris who done it. Okay then.
Okay. Speaking of Chuck Norris, he's going to be at a Comic-Con, not mine, but I saw he's doing one. So that was interesting.
Yeah, I used to like him until I learned more about his personal politics. And
another one? Oh, really?
Well, just not my taste. Sorry, everybody.
You got to understand, Johnny, there's, as my dad would say, there's 8 billion people in this world, and you're not going to get along with everyone.
No, 100%.
You can't be so arrogant and think that everybody's going to agree with you, son.
I'm not arrogant. I just,
I worked with a lot of assholes in my life. I didn't like them.
Let's wrap up so I get back to my personal drama.
He's got drama.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching. Depending on schedules, we'll try and be back next week. And also, regardless, if like I said, my buddy Tana Ford wants to come on. All the IDW Star Trek creators, I'm going to get them on. Heather Antos, the editor, as well. So I have every intention of continuing Trek conversation before we get to Lower Decks, beyond Lower Decks, as we wait for whenever they decide to say when Discovery is coming up. So there's always, hey guys, 50
you got that great Trek podcast you did with Andrew Robinson out there. So go listen to that.
By all means, absolutely. I gotta finish putting the images up to make it a video. It was a phone conversation, but it was great.
So cool.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care. Mitch, you want to do the lightsaber before you leave? Is that
sure as shit. Hold on. You gotta wait till it starts up now. It takes a while. Hold on. Let's do it right.
All right, everybody stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.